Tech Talk of TechForum. Today we have two eminent speakers, Dr. Shashikala Gangal from uh, Pune University. She is ex-professor emeritus, ISRO chair professor, ex-professor and head of the Department of Electronic Sciences, Savitribai Phule University. And of course, we have a Elmer industry expert, engineer Surendra Agarwal. He is the first batch, BTech from the first batch of Delhi University, IIT Delhi, and MTech. And he has so many things at his credit, which I will not read because I have already shared the biodata of both. Actually, Tech Forum was thinking of working on medical electronics and related sensors. And I think it has given a kickoff from the 90th lecture. And we have organized 5 lectures in series on product medical electronics and also focusing on Make in India. So today, Madam is having very rich experience in development of sensors. And you may be aware there is a lot of activity they have done in university, rather all across the country. Universities have worked on development of sensors. So there is a rich knowledge available. Only problem today is the knowledge is not converted into industrial product, or it is not available for the nation. Rather, it is not improving the GDP of the nation. So Tech Forum has taken this activity, and Mr. Surendra Agarwal, we would like to help him. We would like to request him to help us for leading this activity as far as medical electronics is concerned, and we will definitely work under him for many more lectures to come and try to structureize it and support Make in India efforts done by a lot of researchers and scientists. So today's presentation will be like this. Dr. Gangal will give a presentation on sensors in general and some focus on this medical sensors. Then Dr. Engineer Surendra Agarwal will take it up and raise few questions where she will answer. We also have some experts from medical electronics. They will also try to give answers to the queries. So without spending much time, I will request Dr. Shashikala Gangal to start her presentations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please mute your videos.
Huh?
Please go ahead, madam.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rabde, for inviting me for this lecture. And I'll try to finish it within 20-25 minutes so that question answers can be more. In recent years, there is a significant growth in sensors and actuators market. Factors driving the growth are increasing industrialization, technologically advancements, growing adoption of automation. The emphasis is on the development and adoption of indigenous sensors and actuators and corresponding instruments required in the field, including hardware and software. There are many places wherein such work is going on. And as Mr. Rabde was saying, it has not been the market. The customer preferences are improved efficiency, accuracy, and reliability, real-time data, enable remote monitoring control. Growing focus is on energy efficient and cost-effective actuators and sensors. Advanced technologies are coming up: Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. And for sensors and actuators, there are a number of technologies used for fabrication, measurements, etc. They are thin film, thick film, mechanical things, then micro electromechanical devices, nanotechnology, and all. All these technologies are used for fabrication of sensors and for fabrication of sensors, and that also in medical sensors. The growing demand is on the smart sensors. and actuators that can provide real-time data analytics, predictive maintenance, and intelligent automation. Medical sensors are classified in three categories. They are physiological sensors like blood pressure, blood flow, heart rate monitor, and heart rate measurement, glucose monitoring, core body temperature, blood oxygen, etc. Biokinetic sensors like acceleration and angular rate of rotation measurement. These sensors are based on strain gauges, accelerometers, and global positioning systems. There are ambient sensors for humidity, light, sound pressure, level, and temperature. These common medical measurement characteristics are listed in this table. Blood flow range, the frequency, and the sensor measurement. This is for blood flow meter is used, blood pressure, strain gauges are used, electrocardiography, the skin electrodes are used. And there are this, I'll not go into details of it because you may be knowing all this. Now, further, these sensors are classified as zero-order sensors, like the linear potentiometric displacement sensor. The first-order sensor, for example, energy storage element. And the system equation contains the first-order derivative of output signal. This uses an RC low-pass filter for the input circuit. Then there is second-order sensors. They have many medical instruments are second-order or higher, and they use RLC low-pass filters for bioinstrumentation. That's a good example of second-order. There are airflow sensors that are used extensively in medical devices. One is volumetric flow sensor, and other is mass flow sensor. Volumetric flow sensors use turbines and multiple pressure sensors. This in the figure, the turbine flow, there is a turbine wheel. The speed of it is measured. The measured volume of the air passes to the point per unit time, and the speed is measured using an optical and magnetic sensors. These turbine wheels can now be fabricated into the MEMS technology, and therefore all the sensors can become. But the thing is that what is the input will decide what is the size of the sensor. I mean, input, like we have to inhale in the sensor, then we need to have a little bigger tube and therefore bigger sensor. Then in mass flow sensors, they measure the mass of the gas passing through a point per unit time. So you use hot wire anemometer or thermal mass flow sensors. Then we have the blood pressure sensors, systolic and diastolic. The Sphygmomanometer, Sphygmomanometer, or blood pressure monitor, blood pressure gauge is used. The device. I have worked on this pressure sensors, not blood pressure sensors, but the pulse pressure sensors, which effectively can give information on the blood pressure. The blood pressure analog pressure sensors used are mercury or aneroid, which is liquid manometer. The mechanism is for inflation, which may be manually operated bulb or valve, or a pump operated, which is electrically. And the measurement is done using mechanical gauges or with dial faces or mercury systems. There are digital meters which we normally use in our house for measurement of blood pressure, and they use oscillometric measurements. There's the diaphragm deformable membrane, which uses and then the change in piezoresistance or measurement of capacitance in terms of the frequency is used for measuring the blood pressure, both systolic and diastolic. But this is little less accurate meters, and calibration is most concern. Therefore, in medical field, analog blood pressure sensors are more believed. Then there are temperature sensors. We use negative temperature coefficient. Many the sensors, temperature sensors are available in India. Then pulse oximetry is another important sensor. This is a non-invasive method for monitoring blood oxygen saturation. Peripheral oxygen saturation readings are typically 2% accurate. A standard pulse oximeter passes two wavelengths, green and red light, to the tissue to a photodetector. It can be a transmission type of oximeter or reflection type. In transmission type, it is normally put on a finger tip or a earlobe. This transmission type oximeter, pulse oximeter, it measures the change in absorbance over the course of cardiac cycle, allowing it to determine the absorbance due to arterial blood alone. And this excludes unchanging absorbance due to venous blood, skin, bone, muscle, fat, and many cases nail polishes also. But in when it comes to a reflection type, you have to be careful about all these reflections from skin, bone, etc. But the two wavelengths, they measure the quantities of bound and unbound hemoglobin, and from that the ratio, the percentage of bound hemoglobin is computed. As I said, there is a transmission pulse oximetry or reflection pulse oximetry. Pulse and heart rate also uses a similar sensors. And heart rate can be calculated from the pulse oximetry sensors. But when it comes to find out the heart beating, because the heart rate, both pulse rate and heart rate are near about same. But the heart rate is how many times your heart beats per minute, and pulse rate is how many times per minute your arteries expand because of your heart beating. Now for this heartbeat measurements, electrical or electrocardiography sensors are used. This heart generates a small electrical current with every heartbeat, and heart rate monitors with electrical detection capabilities can detect and track that current. And then there are optical photoplethysmography. They use infrared light to see the expansion of arteries as the heart pumps the blood to them. These devices can be put on the chest, band devices for heart rate measurement. But this band must be wet because you need to use a conductive gel with this sensor to touch your skin. Then there is a wrist or forearm bone wearables, which uses light emitting diodes and sensor detectors, and they rest against the skin to detect the tiny expansion of blood vessels. Then there are smart rings which can be worn on your fingers, which do use the optical detection to track your heart. Then pulse oximeters, as we discussed before, and there are smartphones also which use, but the accuracy of this is again questionable. Some of these smartphones, they use optical detection by holding your finger to the camera lens, and with a camera flash used to eliminate the blood vessels under your skin. This is not very accurate sensor. Then electromyography is the general term which refers to the methods of studying electrical activity of the muscles. This EMG technique study neuromuscular activity of strained muscles using a recording electrode that is inserted into and placed on the surface of the muscle. And therefore, it is a little troublesome sensor. But the output of the signal, which is picked up by the electrode, pin-like electrode, is then displayed on the oscilloscope for visual analysis, and it is fed through speaker system so that they can be monitored acoustically. This modern computers plus equipment allows the conversion of the signal into a digital data. Then there are biosensors. I'm not much into this field, therefore I'm just giving a superficial information. The development of novel biosensors for early detection of A beta biomarker. You know that Alzheimer's diseases is hampering the daily life of the Alzheimer patient. This current diagnostic procedures of AD are difficult and are made in an advanced stage of the disease. And it is clinically important to find accurate markers for Alzheimer's diseases by new non-invasive methods that may facilitate the diagnosis process and identify the patient's trouble in earlier stages. And this has motivated, of course, there is not much information on the A beta peptides, which I have gone through. And this work is on the development of novel and innovative solutions for detection of Alzheimer biomarkers like A beta peptides. This work is going on in this direction. Then there's a development of electrochemical biosensor systems for rapid detection of microorganisms. These foodborne and waterborne pathogens have posed a great risk to human health, and about 250 diseases are known already that are resulted from diverse food and waterborne pathogenic microorganisms such as pathogenic viruses, parasites, and bacteria. Bacteria is more troublesome, and the advent of nucleic acid-based pathogen detection methods offers increased sensitivity and specificity over traditional microbiological techniques. And it is going on this develop portable integrated biosensors for bacteria. Now there is work is also going on for novel interactive tools for children with juvenile arthritis. Arthritis is a painful disease that attacks the joints, and it has no cure, but it can be taken into remission through daily exercise. However, due to pain, the people don't do exercise. And in case of children, it is more often difficult to get exercise done from them. So researchers intend to design and develop interactive exercise tools and toys for children with a juvenile arthritis. This consists of the tools targeting a different joint group of hands, wrist, knuckle, and mid-finger joints. And it is proposed to get this product unique because nothing in the market fulfills the need of children with arthritis. Medical devices sector in India comprises large multinational and small and mid-sized companies. The size of the Indian medical devices market is expected to grow $50 billion by 2030. The Indian medical device market share is in the global market is estimated to be 1.65%, and diagnostic equipment market to reach $6 billion in 2027. India is the fourth largest Asian medical devices market after Japan, China, South Korea. And among 20 medical devices market globally. The increased export of medical devices in the country, to increase it, the Ministry of Health, Family Welfare, and Central Drug Standard Control Organization and Government of India have commenced various initiatives. So I think Dr. Surendra Agarwal will be able to give more information on this. So I think this is with the emphasis on research and development. And I'm more interested in research and development. And I appeal the students who are attending this lecture to go for more and more research and development along with the industry collaboration. There are a lot of medical equipments available, and the basic diagnostic equipments are blood pressure monitor, thermometers, etc. Emergency equipment like aspirators, oxygen canisters, trauma board ventilators. There are laboratory supplies are there. You need urine analyzer, autoclave, automated defibrillators. Then there are specialized equipment like ECG unit, CT scan, MIR, spirometer, monitoring the lung, etc. And for continuous health monitoring, further along with this, the wireless body area networks of implantable and wearable medical devices is envisioned. Biological information from here in wireless body area network, biological information from human body is sensed through the wearable and implantable sensor. The sensors communicate the acquired information to control the sensors. The sensors communicate the acquired information to a local network and one on the body, and then further it is conveyed wirelessly to the remote destination for diagnostic and therapeutic purposes. Now, the requirement for wireless sensors that it should be unobstructionless. That is, it has to be lightweight and miniature. It should not increase the troubles because of the heavyweight sensors added to the body. Then they have to be flexible, and printed batteries are very essential for this. The security of the sensors must fulfill the privacy requirements provided by the law. The interoperability is more important, because this entails that the data exchange method will allow information to be shared across hospitals, pharmacies, labs, clinicians, and patients, regardless of the vendor used. Then the communication has to be reliable. The communication constraint varies between nodes, since the sampling rates required by much sensors are different. There has to be a trade-off between communication and computation, and this is very crucial for optimal systems. Now, some of the most common commercial wearable prototypes available are cotton shirts embedded with sensors like ECG, EMG, and body posture sensor. Then NASA is developing a wearable patch that controls the heart rate, blood pressure, and physiological parameters for astronauts. The Nike Apple iPod Sports Kit, as well as the Live Shirt, is developed by Viva mattresses, and these are these sensors, wearable sensors, are available or in work. The availability and importance of several implantable sensors for the Vivo monitoring are currently being developed. Implantable identification device with RFID tag. Then Ohio and California, USA are developing implantable kidney. It's an alternative for the dialysis and the transplantation of microelectromechanical systems. The for the I mean the dialysis and transplantation, microelectromechanical systems have been used to create the biocompatible silicon membranes, wherein you can go for nanometer size pores fabricated in that, and the the MEMS the sensor or the MEMS membrane is flexible, and therefore it can mimic the filtering capacity and human kidney through cloning. Both on-chip potentiostat and signal processing techniques, substantial progress has been made towards a wireless implantable glucose and lactate sensing by chip. The smart pills based on the microelectromechanical systems for delivering medicine at a particular location in the body are being used. And work is being also done on digital twins. This is a very recent development. And whenever you have all the information about your body, and that is a twin. When you go along with your twin to a doctor, through the or by implantable sensors, if you reach a doctor, then comparing the digital twin, he can find out what and where the things have gone wrong, and that helps the early diagnosis. I can say that in Nadi Pariksha, in Ayurveda, when when the Nadi Vaidya does Nadi Pariksha, he sees the Prakriti and Vikruti of a person. Prakriti means what is the base thing, and that they give some advice to not to have anything eat, and in the morning they find out the pulse, human pulse, and at 3 points, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and that they take as a Prakriti of that person. And whenever Vikruti happens, they always compare in their brain, for what is going on wrong, and they can give a proper treatment. I will explain in later in my talk, the development of a Vata Pitta Kapha pressure sensor, which we have developed, and of course it has not seen the market. As I said, I'll give you the things little later. Instrument development, it integrates many sciences and is technology intensive and capital intensive. The technological strengths needed include those in electronics, like controls, embedded systems, software, that is for data processing, optical sensors like MEMS and NEMS, detectors, sources, spatial materials, and precision mechanical fabrication. For creating concepts and innovation, a good infrastructure for R&D is required. This may depend upon the amount of funding for scientific research. Then for prototyping and development, one needs a good interaction between scientific community and industry. It needs a flexible mechanism for transfer of technology, and a sound infrastructure for hardware manufacturing is required in instrument development. But there is a lack of progress in instrumentation in India. The industry perception, this is main factor is a poor interface between industry and research institutions and academia. The industry perception is that scientists in India at the most have carried out the reverse engineering of non-patented instruments. The industry is not interested in these and are not state-of-art instruments. This is true. Scientists take a so long to develop the instrument. This is also. The product is also not usually user friendly, and there is no proper follow-up and monitoring of the quality. There is a dearth of trained science and technology manpower in certain critical fields like optics. And the instrumentation industry is based on interdisciplinary research between physicists, other scientists, and engineers, etc. But lack of this culture, especially in the universities, where the division into the departments is very rigid. And therefore, this is industry perception, and almost all of them are true. Then there is a academia perception. This Before liberalization, the industry did not care much for the new technology, as they were able to import freely, uh, import to the importing the equipment because it was available at the low cost and immediately. In India, due to absence of component industry, there was distinctive. The scientist has to do his own development of the component, wait for the component to buy from abroad, which is difficult to purchase through a university procedure. It itself takes one purchase order abroad takes around 6 months also. So 6 months are gone. So there is naturally a delay in development of things, and which the development of component industry and in-house is also takes similar time. In Indian industry has not made a very serious effort for international brand building or indigenous instruments. The instruments built by various laboratories have not been commercialized, and there are very few patents. Presently, the thing is changing, but I mean, during when I was doing my research, it was very difficult to do anything for industry. I mean, commercially great things. The main thing in university is no permanent teaching and research staff is available, uh, and therefore there is no funding. And the teacher has to do his teaching, I mean, spend time in teaching. Sufficiently good time goes in teaching, and the research time is comparatively less. That you get it done through research students guiding them and giving them the facilities. There is a dearth of facilities also in the universities, and the thing is that scholarships for research students are not available, independent. So you have to do it through our research project funding. And when it goes for research project funding, then reservation criteria applies, and therefore research students, even if he is not, even if a student is capable, I cannot take him because he is not from the reservation category or the category which I'm supposed to appoint from which I am supposed to appoint the students. And that has also I have to do the thing with the available student, and it takes a lot of time in training. Not for all, I'm not saying for all the students, but mostly because the students first are uh, not interested in doing something, but they are interested in publishing the papers and getting their degrees and go away with the degree in the job because it is available for them. I'm talking about now the two developments. One is from one of my old student, which has seen the market. So this is an Prananiti. It has enhanced respiratory support system. It is non-invasive oxygen therapy. This is primarily a mild to moderate type of type 1 respiratory failure. This requires only less than 15 liter per minute oxygen. It improves tissue oxygenation, and but it is not a ventilator, and it is not intended to be used as a life support system, but it helps flushing of anatomical dead space, enrichment of air with higher concentration of oxygen. So for initial treatment and all that thing, this will be useful. To increase in PaO2, resulting to higher diffusion of oxygen into blood and higher oxygen being delivered to the tissue. It helps them. I mean, this it's being manufactured. The manufacturing license is available with these people, and it's a group of two electronics people and two doctors who have developed it. And as I said, the coordination of such uh, group coordination is very essential when developing anything. Then I'll tell about what I have done in development of a Nadi Parikshan Yantra. It's a human pulse detection system. This is a total system. This, I mean, it's an like Nadi Pariksha. It's a non-invasive type of test. And Nadi Vaidya can diagnose from this Vata, Pitta, and Kapha type of pulses. And therefore, but that is a subjective. In order to convert that into objective things, we have developed the sensor, pressure sensor, because pulse is a pressure. Pulse is a pressure type of output, and therefore we have developed because it has to be flexible. The sensor flexible. It is biocompatible, and should be able to. The detection limit is the blood pressure limit, systolic and diastolic things. So the size is important also, because the three pulses are 3 fingers. The sensor should be of finger size, fingertip size, and therefore because the Nadi Vaidya goes on, diagnosis the disease, taking the pulses or sensing the pulses by tips of the sensor. And then there has to be a change in the pressure given to a particular sensor, applied on the sensor, because the Nadi Vaidya, he gives when changes the pressure on uh, the wrist to get the exact information or the more information. This is the signal conditioning for sensors, it's a DAC card, and this is the output. These are power supplies. This is a sensor, the thing which I have connected over here is a sensor mount. It's an encapsulated PVDF film. It is encapsulated in PMDS because otherwise the PVDF film is very thin and it may not be. But PMDS helps in supporting as well as transferring the pressure, pulse pressure to the PVDF film. And there is adhesive tape, and the wires are taken from here to connecting it to your electronics. This is a sensors. We have made 3 sensors of the similar and same characteristics. We check the characteristics, that pressure response and output voltage, linear regression, and the frequency response. Because the frequency, the maximum frequency test is 20 hertz. Actually, the frequency of the pulse is very low, but we have gone here to 20 hertz, because finally we have to then analyze the sensor through the mathematical techniques. This is the data which is acquired. It is 3-channel. The sensors are given a constant pressure, and this shows the pressure applied on the sensor when putting it onto the wrist. And these are the outputs of the Vata type of pulse. pitta, and kapha. These three pulses are available simultaneously on your wrist. Then there are this is vata dominant plus. The vata amplitude is more in comparison with the other two. This is a pitta dominant pulse. This is particular red color is dominant, and this is a kapha type of pulse. And when vata, pitta, and kapha all are equal, I mean that the person is having a good health. It gives you equal amplitudes of vata, pitta, and kapha. And this we checked with the sensors, and the data given by the Nadi Vaidya. The highest amplitude pulse points are taken, and number of subjects, vata type of subjects are 18, pitta are 3, kapha are 1, vata, pitta, and kapha were 4, and vata and pitta were 4. And there was a 100% correspondence with the Nadi Vaidya and these pulses. Of course, it doesn't remain here. It has to go further for analysis of the pulses. Okay, because these pulses, when you are getting the area under the curve, it doesn't give. I'm just vata, pitta, and kapha type will give you just identify the type, but it will not be able to diagnose the disease. So we are using, and this is what we have to go further for analysis of it, take a large amount of statistical data. Because Nadi Vaidya also, when he gets trained, he uses large number of types of pulses and people, and then in his brain he has all that data. All this data has to be put in our computer, and similar, because that's the I got from the Nadi Vaidya. There are 72 type of variations in the pulses. 72 type of variations in the pulses. And these 72 type, only the Nadi Vaidya can diagnose only 18 to 20 of it. But to get to have that 18 to 20 type, we need a very large amount of data to see that, yes, this pulse type or pulse analysis will give you the reliable information on whether this person is having some specific disease. We were trying to do it for a blood pressure, but that also we could get only the data. We could not take much because the student has gone. The equipment was only one. So there was the rate of taking the person should be available, and simultaneously the Nadi Vaidya should be available. So all these things, they made us stop the research at that point. And I leave this further to the newcomers or interested people to go ahead. I can help in initial things, and the data analysis, statistical data, etc., can be done. So this is a sort of a success but unsuccessful commercialization of the Nadi Pariksha. Thanks a lot for. I hope
Thank you very much, ma'am, for this wonderful overview of sensors. We really appreciate your efforts and work you did in university. Friends, this session, we will be exceeding the time limit maybe by 15 minutes because we have two speakers and we want to make this event truly interactive. So without spending much time, I will request Engineer Surendra Agarwal to take over and start his session. Over.
Good morning to all the participants, and thanks Vilas for inviting me to be one of the speakers or one of the anchors, who's going to drive the interactive session. And Dr. Shashikala, it was a very, very interesting and informative session. And particularly, you talk about some sensors for Alzheimer, NASA wearables, digital twins, implantable kidneys, which is being done in Ohio and California, as well as, the two products which have been developed under you, Praniti and Nadi Parikshan Yantra. Now, my emphasis will be more on how to develop an ecosystem for utilizing all this research work which has been done or the products which have been developed till now. So as I understand, uh, Dr. Gangal, you developed about 10 equipment and sensors. Are they marketable?
Sensors?
You
Sensors
developed,
presently, at least, they are not. I mean, we have all this information and we have all that technique development, but it has to go for, I mean, large number of sensors are to be met and all that thing. That we lack in the funding as well as because the research student has to have a funding for doing all these things.
yeah, I'll come to that. I'll come to that.
Yeah.
Funding is one of the, okay.
Yeah, that is a
Then
major this thing. Otherwise,
you have also handled some 28 research projects sponsored by different agencies. What happened to those projects? Did the sponsoring agencies wanted to take you forward those projects, or you just stopped at that?
which one you are saying? I'm pardon.
About 28 research projects, as per
Yeah.
your biodata,
Yeah.
you have which are sponsored by different agencies, and you have guided them. So what happened to those projects later on?
Like the gas sensor for NO2, we developed for ISRO. The technology has been transferred to them. I don't know what they are doing further. Because the thing is that we have come to the, I mean, prototype. And prototype is to be, because further was to be done by ISRO. And I don't think now, presently at least, they have gone for commercializing it or reproducing it. But that thing has been given. The second project was again for ISRO for development of a noise sources. This noise sources, we did it for a microwave in the microwave frequency region using the waveguides and the plasma tube, because plasma tube gives RF and microwave energy, and that was I mean the filtered out using the waveguides, and we had a very good sources developed, noise sources developed. But again, they will be used for testing the microwave tube, I mean microwave amplifiers and all that thing. But again, there is no taker of it because not much work is being done in microwave in India.
Right. So what I find from your session is that you have developed projects, you have developed products,
Yeah.
but we are not taking it forward. So basically, there is a lack of ecosystem in the whole space, which you have rightly pointed out, also that industry academia interaction basically that has been kind of lacking in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
So coming to your first point about funding, I would like to point out to everybody here that Government of India has set up a Anushandhan National Research Foundation, ANRF, and they have got a budget of about 50,000 crores. And they are interested in driving practical oriented solutions. So I think, if we can develop a group which will like to take it forward, this can be a very good, funding mechanism for all these projects which have been developed till now, and they are lying on the shelf. So again, repeating, Anushandhan National Research Foundation, it is a budget of 50,000 crores. So, and they are basically wanted, they basically wanted.
I will. I'll find out the group of students who can.
Yeah, correct. I'll come to that. So funding is not a problem. No. Second thing is, there are two things which Government of India is doing in terms of developing innovative medical devices in India. The Telangana Life Sciences Park which has been developed by Government of India along with the Telangana government. It has got 1,000+ life sciences companies with combined value of US dollar 80 billion. $80 billion worth, 1,000 life sciences companies are available. So I think if they can approach those, and if we have got a novelty in our products which we have developed or the research which we have done, we can certainly find and do a tie-up with the MNCs. Second thing is, there is another Yamuna Expressway Industrial Development Authority, which has been set up near Noida in Delhi. And it has got all the facilities which you can think of for developing and making it marketable solutions like common IT facilities, AI ML zone, electronic systems and design facilities for sensor testing and integration facility, then electronic calibration and testing facility, 3D design, rapid prototyping, tooling lab, mechatronic zone, display zone, component warehouse, center of excellence for skill development, and incubation center. So I think these two things, Telangana Life Sciences and the Yamuna Expressway Industrial Development Authorities, are the ones who can help give you all the facilities which you require. I've gone through your reasons for not taking it forward. But I know you are 75, I am also old, but we are not the ones who can take it forward. We need to develop an ecosystem. I mean, I have been helping startups. I have been a senior member of the TAI Pune, which helps the startups. Then I have been associated with Bharatiya Yuva Shakti Trust, which gives loans up to 30 lakhs for startups. But there has to be a group of people, derived from scientists, engineers, and business people who are interested in taking it forward.
Yeah.
So there is absolutely no problem in terms of funding. There's no problem in terms of facilities, because I again say that the Yamuna Expressway has got all the facilities which you can think of, including 3D design, rapid prototyping, tooling lab, mechatronic zone, display zone, component warehouse, etc., etc. So absolutely there is no problem. And I think we can start with the two of your products which have been developed, Praniti and Nadi Parikshan Yantra. And we can also approach, Ayush Ministry, which is promoting.
I mean, we had gone to Ayush Ministry.
Okay.
They visited us 2-3 times, and
Okay.
afterwards they did not tell anything. I don't know why.
Thing
They
is,
appreciated. They
yeah,
appreciated.
thing is that government, how it works. It is not that you just go once and it takes up.
I mean,
So,
and I know that the system is double blind, because we don't know Ayurvedic terms and analysis, and they don't know what we do. So we wanted to have a very good, but there are Sanskrit shlokas also, which have given, I mean, in Ayurveda Sanskrit shloka, there are a lot of things which are explained differently. So we wanted to have all those things together to get a very good system. But the thing is that it fizzled out.
yeah,
And
I mean, that in case of, government particularly, we have to keep following it up. They're visiting them, finding out because this has been set up basically for promoting Ayurveda and Unani system, and there is no reason that unless there are varied reasons for not promoting it or not taking it forward, we need to find it out. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, and to all the participants, that there is no lack of funding. There is no lack of collaboration which can be developed with the MNCs, etc. But we require people, dedicated people, who want to take it forward. For that purpose, the government is also promoting what we call EDC cell, entrepreneurship development cells in the colleges. And there, if we can make a business case for the students, then some of the students may be interested in taking up as a part of EDC, entrepreneurship development cell. So all this requires some kind of follow-up and, in terms of, what should I say, a dedication. And I have got a lot of experience in helping all the startups, but we require people who are willing to take it forward. So with this, I will like to conclude my interaction with you. But if anybody from the audience, from the participants want to ask any question, they're welcome.
Yeah.
Participant, please introduce yourself and ask the questions.
Vishwas Kare.
Yeah.
I'm audible.
But
Yeah, Mr. Vishwas.
Yes, sir. Please continue.
I've got 2 or 3 points. Number one, I'm referring to Dr. Gangal first. He's very good presentation, and they have been associated together for many years, so we know each other very, very well what she's doing. But I'm specifically referring to your last project, that is Nadi Pariksha. I am advisor to a very large Ayurvedic firm. We never talked about it till today, both of us. So if you want anybody to be interested to take it forward, the doors are absolutely wide open. And there is absolutely no problem. The data, they get hundreds of patients every day. So we can discuss that later, but that opportunity is there. Number one. Of course, I respect Mr. Agarwal's views. He's given a lot of inputs, but I humbly disagree a few points. Number one, the funds are there, the yojana is there, but getting funds, getting help from there is very, very difficult. There is a center set up in Kharagpur, for example, where I'm connected. Last 2 years, the center is ready. Nothing is happening as far as industry interrelationship is happening. No testing is done. We have contacted many times. I'm connected a lot of associations like this, but the help is coming very slow and doesn't come at all. That is a big problem. And I'm also connected with some startups. And for the benefit of everybody here, we can give you funds. Funds is not a big issue. You have to come forward. And last point for the moment, the industry and academia have to come together. I have heard it thousands of times. Everybody has heard. It is a gone case. Unless the academica and industries shook up themselves and come together, nothing is going to happen. Because the response from academics is very, very poor when you contact them. The industries want something fast, committed, in time. That doesn't happen. I can go on talking like this, lot of frustrations everywhere. There are a few things here and there happening, but it has to go a big long way. I can talk much more later on if somebody wants some information. Thank you.
thank you, Vishwas. Any further questions? Mr. Agarwal, I think you go ahead.
No, I got a response, in terms of what Mr. Kale just said, that, the funding is available, but it doesn't come through. Yeah, I mean, I know those problems are there, but if we can visit once, at least, this Telangana Life Sciences Park or, Yamuna Expressway Industrial Development Authority, we can, I think, find out some takers for all these products which have been developed, or at least we can sense what kind of products do they want from the academia. Actually, should not be academia industry interaction. It should be startup and industry interaction, because academia is basically more interested in the research, while the application of that has to be done by a startup group. So it's more that we have to kindle spirit of startups, which is basically they have to be persistent, they have to keep on following it up, and don't give it up so easily. So that is my suggestion, but I'll not refute what Mr. Kale has said, that funding is a problem. And I also want not refute what Dr. Gangal has said, that they have approached the Ayush Ministry and there is not much of response. But persistent is the only way. But there has to be a startup. There has to be some interested 4 or 5 people who wants to get into this field and want to take it forward. We can provide, direction. I can provide them with how to make a business case, how to make a pitch, but they will have to do it themselves.
And I will request Mr. Surendra Agarwal to be a leader as far as medical electronics sensors are concerned. And we'll try to show at least one example, because I have lined up 2, 3 presentations after this. The first presentation will be in the first week of November, and it will be on the defibrillators. As of now, we were importing it, and Pune-based bottom-up pyramid company have come out of with this defibrillator unit, very cost-effective, cost just 90,000. It has all the validations, and their capacity is 10 units per month. As on today, they are selling 3 to 5 units every month. So we will see that success story, and we will hear from them. Probably we might find some solution.
Vilas,
Another startup, Gautam More, he is in the wearable devices, and this he is going to launch very shortly. He is a MIT TBI incubating. So there are some good cases which we can take up, but let us form a group under the leadership of Mr. Agarwal, and
Vilas,
then proceed further. Over to Mr. Agarwal.
Vilas, one
Yeah,
point.
I agree with you. At least we
Vilas,
can give it a try, and there is nothing wrong in giving it a try when like-minded people come together, because the emphasis of TTA was basically very different. It was basically technology transfer, and we are talking about technology development. So their emphasis has been a bit different on technology transfer association, and it is an outdated concept in terms of technology transfer. We are all talking about in defense, whether it is defense or whether it is a medical, doing it our own, made in India. So I think the concept is different, but I'll only suggest that we can give it a try. And like-minded people, if they come together with so many experience, so much of experience with everybody, something we might achieve. And if you achieve nothing, at least we would have learned. I mean,
Vilas, Vilas,
Yeah,
and
go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to make a constructive point.
Okay, please go ahead.
I suggest Mr. Agarwal take the chair, have a group meeting, maybe next week. I'll host the meeting if you want from my side. You decide. Physical meeting.
physical meeting, yeah, yeah,
You tell me the date and time. I
yeah,
announce
yeah.
it. Here only possible, so that everybody can come and we can brainstorming.
Correct.
The ball is in your court, sir.
Yeah, I think,
I'll discuss. I'll discuss with Vilas, and we'll
yeah.
come out.
Okay. Go ahead. No issues.
Yeah.
Let's come up with some positive points
Ah,
so that we can take the subject further, because
yeah,
all these negative inputs will not lead anywhere. I think
yeah,
we should take some positive examples, form a
yeah.
group, and try to make it more constructive, and try to take care of the hurdles that we are facing as of
Correct,
today.
correct,
I
correct.
agree with Mr. Vishwas Kale, because I know him couple of years. I also
Yeah,
know Dr. Gangal, because I used to visit university very often. So they are doing a lot of work. Probably how to bring industry and academia together. That is one of the topic, and I think Mr. Agarwal, under your leadership, we can definitely take it up. And I will gather few youngsters who are really enthusiastic, knowledgeable, and want to do something. See, validation part is very difficult and time taking and expensive. A sensor,
yeah,
typically, if you want to validate medical sensor, cost 20 lakhs of rupees the validation. You can make
mm,
that sensor in few thousands, but the
mm,
validation cost is very high. So we will see how best we can address that, and that is one of
okay,
the hurdle,
yeah,
I should say.